everybody, and welcome to the Transatlantic Call-In Show. This is the premiere trans call-in show, the very best you'll ever find, where you get to call in and ask two live, real trans people anything and everything you want about trans issues. So if you are skeptical about trans issues, I mean that in the colloquial sense, if you are doubtful about the validity of trans issues and trans lives, if you are a trans parent who doesn't know how to support your kid or something similar, this is the place to call in. We'd be happy to take any and all of your questions. I am your host this week, Arden Hart, and with me is wrong side. Hello.
I'm student Dr. Ben, but only a student for, hold on, let me get the countdown out.
Give us the days.
It is 48 days until I'm done with medical school, and I will change all of my branding, and it'll be a whole thing. But I did also kind of want to go by student Dr. Genus today because of, I don't know if y'all saw the thing about drying your hands on your jeans and trans folks hearing something else. So I am now Genus. That's
so good. If you haven't heard about drying your hands on your genus, go check out Katy's Turf Wars. I think it was this past Monday that she did the episode, or it may have been the one before. It was very recently. But yeah, thanks. Well, how have you been, Ben? How's your week and time going? I know you've been super busy lately.
Yeah, I'm on a new rotation, but it's surgery, so it's a lot. I'm on ENT surgery, but I'm growing this nice little caterpillar here, and I'm pretty excited. Also, this week, I'm doing another top surgery fundraiser, which will probably explode my stomach, but y'all will have to wait and see what happens with that.
That's right. So definitely plug that, at the end and at the beginning, whenever you feel that you definitely want to support that. So that's awesome. Super excited about that. Nothing too new over here. I mean, just kidding. I'm producing all the line shows now, I can't wait till I can do it at the same time. That way we can just get Jimmy out of here all together, or just no, I'm just kidding. Jimmy does the most work. We love Jimmy. So let's just keep steamrolling right through. Let's bring up last week's poll. If every week here we do a poll where we talk about relevant issues going on in the trans sphere, trans culture issues. So Oh, it's just me now. Hi, is this Jimmy abandoning me?
No,
about me.
You remember the buttons that broke on yesterday's show? They're apparently some of them are broken on today's show. I don't know.
I made a joke to chat last night where I was like, I think you did that on purpose to sabotage me as a test.
I don't actually understand how it could have happened because these are the universal shortcuts. So something funky's gone on. I assume you did it.
I don't think I touched the shortcuts at all, but yeah, the shortcuts are fucked. It's really annoying.
I sent you an announcement, by the way, in Twitter. I don't think you saw it, but it's there.
Well, we can plug our Patreon for this Sunday to tell Jimmy happy birthday and go fuck yourself, Jimmy.
Zoom.
That is
on Zoom. If you
on Zoom.
Okay. I'm gonna do a Zoom thing. Y'all can come and tell me to my face, but you got to become a patron. Patreon.com/calltheline.
Yes, and that will be after the Sunday show.
Yeah, Sunday's my birthday. Isn't that exciting? I'm turning 33. Everybody cares.
Aww.
Everyone
Go
cares
fuck
about
yourself, Jimmy.
People turning 33. People are always Jimmy. Like, "Oh my god, cis men turning 33 is such a huge moment in society." It's a joke.
It really is. It's iconic.
Yeah, well, apparently cis men doing anything is a huge thing in the community.
I'd like to think that's true.
Is this last week's or is this I'm pretty sure this might be 2 weeks ago, right? Because
did I fuck it up?
I think you may
this
have.
This was a while ago.
Let me see if I you're right. It's it should be this one.
There we go. All right. So this one was last week's poll or the week before. I can't remember. This one says, views on trans issues are still deeply fraught across the globe. Some believe continuing to debate these issues in the public square is the solution and a matter of free speech. Some believe institutions and companies ought to encourage progress with laws and regulations like what happened in the civil rights era. What do you think the best path forward is? And this is, of course, in sort of a response to Megan Phelps-Roper's new J.K. Rowling podcast. So your options are more debate, which got 15% response. More debate championed by trans people specifically, which was a 23%. Laws, regulations, and TOS, 53%, and other with 9%. So, Ben, were you here when we did this one? What are your thoughts on this?
I was not here. I was not here for this one. I think I agree with the 53% in saying that laws and regulation is the most important thing. I do think that debate should happen. I don't think we should stop debating, because I think that's going to pressure people into making these laws and codifying our rights so that we don't have to keep fighting for them.
Right.
But we can debate all we want, but if the laws don't change, we're still screwed. So that's kind of my thought. Like, use the debate to help drive the progress, but the progress itself is going to come from the legislation. So that's kind of my take on it. Nothing too profound.
Yeah, I think most of the responses I went through seem to have kind of a similar thought, and I pretty much share the same view. I know Amit Matthew, regular commenter on the channel, said, I don't know how to respond. I think corporations are only going to do what's in their best interest from a profit perspective, but y'all shouldn't be debating whether or not you get equal rights and have access to healthcare. But laws don't really change minds make laws. And I think this is interesting because I actually would disagree that laws don't change minds, which is specifically why I brought up the civil rights era, because forcing companies to not be able to discriminate was actually really useful in changing people's concepts about race issues. I mean, it doesn't mean that we still aren't dealing with, deep racism in our country and like systemic bias across multiple institutions. But I think by and large, we'd all agree that thoughts on race issues have changed pretty wildly since that time. And I think in some degree, the laws and such have a lot to be credited for with regard to that. But I definitely get the idea. I think a lot of people were saying what you were saying, Ben, with like, it's kind of everything. All of it is important. But probably the most significant change is going to come from specifically laws and regulations. But yeah, I kind of thought that was important. And terms of service, I think, is really important because, that's a place where even when laws and regulation can't get through, individual companies like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and so forth can like have specific regulations on you don't get to bully trans people, even though that might kind of is on, I feel like, shaky ground with Sir Musk. But yeah, so that's last week's poll. Why don't we hop over to the new week's? Keep it rolling good and fast. We can dive right into calls. You want to read this one?
Yeah. Red states across the U.S. are attempting to legislate away trans people's access to gender-affirming care and expression of gender diversity under the guise of protecting children who couldn't possibly know their gender and ought not to be confused. If you could have received care as a minor, would you wish that option were available to you? And the options are yes, would have been huge, maybe it's unclear to me, no, it would have confused me, or other. And I have some strong opinions about this one, and I'm sure Arden might also have some strong opinions about this one.
Definitely. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, so I absolutely would have jumped on it as a kid, because I don't know how many of you know me in real life, but I'm 5 feet tall, and being a short man is really hard in society. Like, honestly, I wonder a lot of times, like, there's the whole stereotypes of like, you can't get a partner if you're a short man. Like, people have cutoffs of like, you have to be at least 5'7" to be considered. Like, it's not my fault that I'm this size. I had a lot of estrogen in puberty, and estrogen closes your growth plate sooner. So that and my hip size kind of out me. A lot of different reasons why it's less easy to pass, but also just makes me feel, inferior to other people just because society has these certain standards to be seen as a man. And so I absolutely would have wanted that option. And even without just considering medication and like gender affirming care, like, I didn't know I could be trans until I was in my like mid-20s. So like, even having access to knowing about trans people, knowing who I was, I would have been much happier earlier. And there are times when I look back on my upbringing and I feel like I missed out. Like, I mourn what I could have had, knowing that this is my one shot at existence. And so much of it I just feel like was lost for me.
Yeah. No, I definitely empathize with that. I think probably most of the chat could probably empathize with that. Like this kind of poll came from I think it was a Tennessee or maybe it was an Alabama senator was talking about why he was supporting one of these laws that's going to restrict access for minors to have gender affirming care, and he was specifically saying, you know, I think if an adult can do that, that's fine, but if a child under 18 couldn't possibly make that decision, which is ridiculous to me. And I think I have kind of a unique perspective on this because I actually did start medical transition at, I think 14 it was. And the reason that I stopped and detransitioned uh, had nothing to do with my transness being confusing to me. It had everything to do with an extreme negative response from my community. I mean, and this is seen in the data, reflected in all the data, that kids who are supported and validated in their trans identity go from having extremely high rates of suicidality and depression to mirroring their control cisgender peers. So yeah, I definitely think, I think there was also another study that came out recently that suggested identity did not change when access to social transition and medical transition was given at an early age, which just goes to show you that for whatever reason, you know, we talk a lot about what is gender here, like gender identity. Even though we can't point to the area of the brain where gender identity lives, it does seem to be something that, again, in line with the data, is pretty well cemented at a very young age, and people have a very clear concept of, you know, whether I completely understood it or not. I definitely was always my gender even before I knew that that was a possibility. And I think most people would share that sentiment that if I was able to access that care, I definitely wish I could have. And that's something that I think a lot of these lawmakers are never going to see or think about or talk about. So yeah, I hope you guys all go and respond to that poll, and that way we can hear your side of the discussion, because I don't know, I'm sure there's going to be people for whom it's not quite as clear, or who think they needed the time to grow up and sort things out. And I think that's valid. You should be allowed, if you want to take that time, to take that time. It's just a matter of, for those kids who do know and who do want care and who are ready for it, they have the right to access that care. They ought to have the right to access that care.
Right. And that's the big argument we're hearing, is people saying that you go into your therapist to talk about gender, and then immediately you're whisked away to get hormones and surgery. Like, that's not how any of this works. Like, you're not forced to do any of it.
Right.
And like, a lot of people who are trans don't get any medical transition, because some people just don't want it, and like, no one's pressuring them. Like, I wish people understood the amount of like hoops you have to jump through to get any of this. Like, my own journey to top surgery right now, like, it's been so much red tape, like figuring out how to make this happen. And like, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. And definitely, like, these minors are not just being handed things and not evaluated. So
right. Yeah, absolutely. Especially surgery, which seems to be the point that they spend a lot more time focusing on, rather than what they're actually getting, which is social transition and hormone or care. Mm-hmm. But with that said, we do have callers on the line, and one line open. So if you're in the audience, our number is at the bottom of the screen here. Please call us. We'd be happy to take your call. But with that said, we've got our first caller. Let's bring in Taylor in Utah. Pronouns are he, him. Taylor, you are on the line. What's going on?
Hello, it's nice to talk to Arden and Dr. Ben, or Dr. was it Janus or whatever? Genus?
Genus. Yes. What's going on?
So my son, his birthday's actually today, but it's like he's been questioning his gender. It's like, we're pretty sure that he's trans, but we ask him about it, but he won't ever come out and say yes or no. Mm-hmm. So he started growing his hair out about 2 years ago. Just started painting his fingernails, which has been perfectly fine. Haven't had any issues with. And it scares me too, because like my family is extremely religious. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional.
No, it's understandable. Take your time.
And then, like, my wife's family, they're less religious, but still extremely Republican.
Mm.
And so it scares me the reaction that they would have.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's like, it's like if he tells us that he's a trans woman, I have no problem with then calling, using her, she pronouns. But do I wait or what? I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, so Ben, you're the more medical person here. I mean, I realize you probably can't give like medical advice or what, but do you want to hop in on that?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a difficult situation because, yeah, you might have these suspicions that your child may be trans, but it might be that they want to wait, and it might not be that they're afraid to tell you or that they don't want to say anything. It might be that they're still taking their time to get familiar with themselves and see what they want to see themselves as. Because I know even coming out to yourself is a journey, and I went through a period myself of saying, am I non-binary? Am I gender fluid? Am I some other variety of gender identity that I just didn't think of? And I tried out different things. Like I tried out different hair length. I tried out different kind of gender norms and see kind of what I wanted to do. And it took me a while to go kind of through the spectrum to get to where I said, yes, I'm a trans man. And it was definitely scary for me to come out to myself as that, because I had probably the same fears that you have, and maybe the same fears that your kid has, although I don't know your kid. But just the thought of, if I were to come out as trans, what is that going to mean for me? What danger is that putting me in? How much am I going to have to fight for myself? Those are legitimate fears that you might have. And once I got to a place of acceptance for myself of, yes, this is who I am, it was very difficult for me to not want to go forward with transition. But it might be that even if it's taken a few years since they started growing their hair out and things, they might still be on that journey for themselves, figuring out where they fit and how they want to go forward with this. So I definitely think you should not like pressure them. I mean, kind of the biggest thing, you can have a supporting environment with you, like make it very clear, not necessarily just out there like, hey, if you are trans, that would be okay, because that might alert them that you're onto something, and I don't know if they they want to feel that way. But just make it known that, like, no matter what's going on with them, that they're safe with you. And then maybe if they get to a place where they're comfortable talking about it, then they know that you will be ready to. But I think otherwise you don't need to like pressure them into telling you everything, because they just might not be there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's all good advice. I think kind of to like build on that, like what I would recommend, and we don't know the exact age of your kid, and you don't have to share if you're not comfortable. But I think really making sure that they know that, like, above all else, whether they are a femboy, you know, like a cis man who likes skirts and makeup and to appear like very, very feminine, or whether they're a trans woman or a non-binary person, doesn't matter how they identify, you love them and you support them, and you are there to advocate for them to have the access to the best life that you can possibly provide for them. That's the kind of thing that I think most kids really need to hear, and that a lot of trans kids lack. A lot of trans kids get the skepticism from their parents, you know, are you sure? How do you know? which those are all reasonable questions. I understand why a parent would have those questions, but I really think the best thing you can do is like, this will be the best outcome, even if they end up transitioning, and that's not right for them, right? If they know that no matter where they land, that you are going to be there for them and that you are going to love them and that you are going to help see them through all of their hard times, that's the kind of thing that's going to make your kid not need to be pried open their identity. They're going to go, oh, my dad is so safe and so comforting. I want to tell him what's going on. I want him to know what I'm going through and what my identity is and how to be called. Because I think Ben's onto something that sometimes if you're like, hey, are you sure you're not a trans woman? The kid might be like, oh God, fuck, I don't know. Like, geez, don't ask me that. I don't know. Like, kind of avoidant of the question. And probably because in part, like you mentioned, your family and it sounds like your community maybe is a little bit conservative or religious even. And so they probably understand that there are severe risks, even if you love them and support them, with them coming out. They're probably going to some extent, lose a portion of the community that they're currently relying on as like a foundation for, you know, their sense of safety and things. So I don't know if we can necessarily give you advice on like what to do about it. I think, you know, taking them to a professional in terms of psychology and medicine to make sure.
We do have them in therapy right now.
Great. Yeah, that is the most important start.
Yeah, and both of my older sons are in therapy, and my younger son's therapist is a trans woman. So it's like, cool. That was when we first started taking them to therapy, that was one thing that was worrying me, is it's like, what kind of therapist are they going to have? Are they going to be? So yeah, that was definitely a worry off of me.
Yeah, I think you're already doing a lot of the awesome stuff, which is taking them to a professional, making sure that they know you love them. Like, the other things that you can really do is I understand this is a difficult position. You don't always want to have fraught relationships, but making sure that, like, you know, if family members are condemning you as a parent or them for expressing themselves as they want to, like, being able to stand up to your family and be like, look, I don't think you know more than most of the medical industry or the psychology industry. And I'm doing what's best for my kid. I love my kid. And if you're not going to support and respect my kid or me as a parent, then we're either not going to have this conversation anymore, and that's going to have to be a no-go zone for us, or I'm not going to bring my kid around you anymore. It sucks to have to lay those lines down. And obviously, you get to make those decisions for yourself. But I do think, like, seeing a parent or a person in position of power defend a kid that way is something that really goes a long way to communicating that sense of safety and security. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've already had to lay down a lot of those lines when I came out to my parents as atheists. That was that was my dad's response to that was, well, I'm going on a mission then. So
God, yeah.
Well, my dad was going on a mission, not me.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, that's good. It sounds like you're already pretty good at advocating for yourself and standing in opposition to maybe some areas that might be tense in your relationship. So I think you're already on great footing, and it sounds like you're already doing the most to make sure your kid feels respected and seen. Yeah, is there any more specific questions?
No, that was the biggest thing, was it's like, how much do I push? But yeah, I definitely appreciated Dr. Ben's advice. That was really good.
Awesome.
So I think that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Taylor, for calling in. We really appreciate it. I think these calls are honestly some of the most impactful to our audience. So we really thanks for calling in, and we will talk. If you have any other questions, call back.
Will do. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right. So it looks like we've got full lines. Hell yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Wait, let me see. I haven't gotten to actually look at what these callers are. So maybe in the meantime, we can remind you all that at the end of the show, we do read out super chats of $5 or more. Also, it's time for my punishment this week, so I've got my bag of warheads ready to go. There's also the Sunday show with Jimmy and Matt this Sunday, and Skeptalk on Monday with Forrest and Nominal Naomi, who maybe we can get on this show sometime if you guys like her. Hey, sorry, Ben, it sounded like you were about to jump into something.
Oh, if I lose today, I will do a shot of this onion water just for everybody in the audience. So you got to get your votes in. You got to vote in the super chats, though, or it doesn't count.
Right.
So I guess people are going to vote for you then. I guess this is a great way for me to lose today because this is going to be nasty.
I mean, this is my punishment from our last episode, so I would still need a punishment. I don't have onion water on hand, but I have pickled onions before, so maybe we'll do something disgusting and horrifying like that. Okay, so there's so many calls here. I think maybe we'll take call on line 4. That would be caller Christopher in California. Pronouns are he, him. Christopher, you are on the line. What's going on?
Hi. So recently I came out as atheist, and in that I've explored a lot of things, including my sexuality. And at first I thought I was bi, but now I think I might be pan. And I kind of have been going through this really weird thing where I don't know if it's even okay to call myself pan, even though I think I am. I don't really know because my family's really Republican, and I'm I have to stay in the closet and stuff, and I don't know how to like join the LGBTQ community when I have to hide and stuff.
Interesting. So just to clarify, your concern with identifying as pan or bi is not necessarily about the distinction between them, but more about like you maybe have to sort of present as a straight person?
As of late, the thing that's been bugging me is the difference between the two, but it is also having to conceal it all too.
Okay. Ben, do you have thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess my question is like, what's your biggest concern about like not being able to fit in with the LGBT community if you're like, because it sounds like you're a bit closeted, like in public, or like, am I getting this right? I'm a little confused about why you think you wouldn't be able to be in the community because of that.
I don't really. So because I'm so new to all this is like within the last year that all this has happened. I don't know a ton about the community, and I've been trying to do research and stuff, but I don't really know where to find good information, and I don't really know even what it means to be part of the community yet.
Okay. Yeah,
sure.
That's because we have lots of people in the LGBTQ community that are still in the closet with other people in their lives, but are maybe more open among safer people. So like kind of all the community is like the only thing we really have in common is that we're LGBTQ. But of course there are certain things that we tend to agree on, but that's like the whole point of us being a community is to advocate for each other socially, legally, etc. So we have a group that can adequately, fight against discrimination for ourselves as a community. So like, it doesn't mean that you have to like be friends with everybody. It doesn't mean that you have to go to Pride or you have to go to all these social things. We're a network of people trying to help each other out. And so it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not you are in the closet, out of the closet. There are pockets of this community that you can probably find if you wanted more of a friendship community. You can probably easily find that whether you're in the closet or not. But in order to the overarching LGBTQ community, there aren't really a lot of rules for membership. There aren't really a lot of things that will say, no, we have to kick you out. And in fact, I mean, we have debates all the time of people trying to say, well, you're not a real LGBT person if blank, but it's all stupid. And I think the majority of us are banding together saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't gatekeep this from people. But if you wanted a smaller community, there are ways to find that. And that's where we start looking at things like Pride and like other organizations. But that particular thing of like being new and not being sure of where you fit shouldn't exclude you from any of this. And you shouldn't have to feel worried about trying to meet this very specific definition of what an LGBT person is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're going to hear a lot of different ideas if you're just talking to LGBT people, especially in an online space, about exactly, the qualifying factors and things like this. And I think a lot of that is a waste of time. What we have said on this show a lot is that there are only really like two reasons to pick a label. One is to identify oppression, right? So like, this group of people is oppressing this group of people. It's useful to be able to identify the group of people. And two, to communicate broad amounts of information to people at once. So like, for me personally, I would probably technically call myself pansexual, but if I'm like in a group of people who I don't think are super like clued into LGBT issues, I'll probably tell them I'm bisexual, because the distinction between those is pretty narrow. When I was coming out as a queer person, the difference was that bisexual people were into men and women, and pansexual people didn't care about gender at all. Now, I know that's changed before I get crucified in the chat. I know nowadays people say bisexual means attracted to one and more genders, which this is why it gets into like the distinctions between the labels is kind of ridiculous sometimes. I think it's bisexual and pansexual are so closely related. I think maybe some people might say pansexual means you're attracted to like people regardless of gender. Like gender is not really a factor in your attraction or to all genders. But it only matters if it matters to you when it comes to like when we're talking about the communicating broad sets of information, right? It's useful to have a label so I can tell someone if they fit into my attraction. Like if we're like, they're hitting on me and I'm like, hey, you don't fit into my set of attractions. I'm like a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian, but if that were the case, that might not tell you exactly the specifics about my attraction, but it tells you enough that you can tell like, oh, this person probably doesn't fit into that group. And I think bisexual and pansexual, it's very similar. Like you can make a distinction there, but it's really only useful in broad sets. I think like pansexual is kind of like almost like a more specific kind of thing, but they're very related. But also like I'm a bisexual person, right? I've been very into the queer community for like over a decade. It's in my blood, my bones. I am a queer person. I really identify with the queer community, but I'm dating a straight cis man. So for all intents and purposes, when we're out in public, I probably kind of look like a straight woman. And I think it's useful in some sense for bisexual and pansexual people who are dating a like straight passing relationship to at least acknowledge that, hey, there's maybe some sort of privilege that I receive from being able to operate in society viewed as a straight person while still acknowledging that you are a queer person and you are probably still oppressed by all of the things that oppress that group. Right. I think you could have these like nuanced, broad, holding all those things at the same time. But that was kind of a ramble. I'm not sure if that really answered your question. So how do you feel about that? Was that like
helped
helpful?
A lot.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, that was super helpful. Thank you very much to both of you.
Yeah. Was there anything you wanted to like follow up on, or did we were just so good at it?
You kind of covered everything that I was worried about.
Awesome. Well, great.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for calling in.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, if you're interested, definitely keep researching queer resources. There are like tons of documentaries and books and things out there that'll give you all the information on queer history that you could possibly need. So just keep Googling. I'm sure you'll come across the information eventually. I don't have any specific recs, but thank you so much for calling in, Christopher, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Okay. I'm thinking caller number on line 5. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I think that's a little spicy, huh? All right. So we're going to bring in Jason in Los Angeles. Pronouns are he, him. Jason, you are on the line. What's going on?
Yes, hello.
Hi, what's up, Jason?
Hi. Hey, guys. So I just had a question. I was wondering, I was just having this, I don't know, these thoughts about how to talk to people who are bigoted towards the trans community. So I was wondering, like, do you think that a lot of the bigotry towards the trans community, trans people in general, come from like sort of a simple, gut reaction that they have towards just like your visual appearance, and I would sort of say people who may not be quote unquote passing, for the gender that they're aiming for.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer for me is absolutely. I think
Right.
A great example of this, Katy, our lovely host, was on a call-in show. I don't remember which one. People in the chat who know UK stuff can give the details. And a prominent gender-critical person was like one of the hosts that she was calling in to talk to. And the policies and things she was advocating for would affect all trans people. But when she pressed her on, this is going to stop me from using the bathroom, and this person knows what Katy looks like, she was like, well, no, I don't want to affect people like you. I want to affect people who are just putting on a dress and claiming to be a woman, right? So I hear this all the time. I mean, this happens to people in the conservative circles who talk to Blair White all the time. They'll be like, well, I don't care about someone like Blair White, but I just care about a man in a dress. And it's very much, they care about people who they think are confirming their bias about what trans people are, not actually about the truth value of their statements or the groups that they're impacting. They don't think about the fact that the people who they don't know are trans are also impacted by this legislation. Ben, do you have any
exactly.
any different thoughts, or what's up?
Well, it just goes into like this whole issue about how like and I get it that people like people who are attractive looking to them. People are biased and wanting to do nice things for the people that are attractive looking to them. But it's like you get into some really weird ground too, especially like coming from the trans man side. It's like I definitely see that there's even some different treatment with trans women who are attractive to a lot of the cishet white men that are making a lot of these arguments. And so of course, like they'll change their tune for someone that they think is attractive, but then they'll be absolute jackasses to trans guys because we're not sexually appealing to them. And it's like, well, it's not my and you see this too, like with people saying that there's such a problem with girls getting their breasts cut off and like undergoing these surgeries. Like there's a lot of rhetoric right now saying, why are girls trying to be boys? And a lot of it comes down to they find women to be sexually attractive, and certain attributes of my body are seen to be sexually attractive. And if I were to not want them, I lose that status. And to them, that matters a lot. And I don't care. I'm not trying to be appealing to those people. Like, I just want to like who I am. But I think this issue of aesthetics is very prominent in this discussion. And I think it not only affects people who don't pass, but yeah, it affects all of us, and it affects what kind of access to care that we get. It's very interesting. I mean, it's definitely rooted like in psychology and the way we're biased towards aesthetics, but I wish it would stop. It's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
So
did you have, I have more thoughts, but I want to hear how that sorry, I want you to be able. No, I want to hear what you have to say in response to all that.
Okay, yeah, no, and I totally get it, and it makes complete sense to me. It kind of goes along with what I had assumed, was, these people's thinking. It's all about aesthetics. It's all about like, just like that simplistic idea of, oh, you just don't look like what I imagine, a normative, woman or man should look like, or whatever. And yeah, going to your point, Ben, about, they're so concerned about girls, having top surgery and stuff, and how, in some way it's almost this possessive quality, like you shouldn't be doing that, like women shouldn't be doing that, because otherwise that affects me as a man, that I can't enjoy your breasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So just sort of going along with that, I thought, and this may be sort of a controversial question, I don't know how stupid it is, but would that sort of, would it then follow then if maybe a good response to these people would be to, well, if you don't really psychologically have a problem with trans people who pass, wouldn't sort of a remedy for that in your mind be to actually allow trans people at a younger age to transition earlier, so that then, if they desired to, could quote unquote pass better in your mind or something? I don't know. Is that a dumb question?
No, it's not a dumb question. What you've stumbled upon is something that is just ever present in people who don't have consistent worldviews, which is that if trans people exist, they want them to pass, but the main things that allow them to pass, they don't want any trans people to have access to. I mean, you can do this for gender critical people all day long in like a variety of different areas to maintain beliefs that are not in alignment with reality. In a lot of cases, by necessity, you have to have inconsistencies in your belief, or you have to make like logical leaps that you can't justify. And with gender critical people, this is a classic one that they what is it, mutually exclusive things that they want to have both at the same time, and it's just literally impossible. But the only other thing I really want to add that I think is important for the chat and for viewers is that I think it's important also to recognize, while bigotry towards trans people that absolutely has a strong correlation with whether or not they pass, I think it's important to remember to not essentialize that too deeply, because something that I know I've gotten before is somebody accusing me, because they might think I pass now, of having a broken pinky of a trans experience to somebody else's bleeding out, which is just like a ridiculous comparison. And the reason I think it's important is because, like, for most trans people, even the ones who pass currently, most of us still went through extreme amounts of transphobia to get to the point where we're at now. I'm super fortunate, super privileged, would never deny that passing privilege in some sense maybe reduces the amount of day-to-day bullshit that I would encounter. Now, granted, I don't leave my house much, so I don't think I'd face much bullshit either way. But yeah, I went through, I've talked about before, like my sophomore year of high school, I got just countless death threats all the fucking time over being one of the first outwardly trans people that most of those people had encountered. And that doesn't, the trauma from that doesn't just vanish because now I don't have those issues. So, you know, definitely this is kind of like the bisexual, like acknowledging that if you're straight passing, you have privilege, but that doesn't mean that you aren't a part of the queer community. Likewise, I think it's good to acknowledge that passing privilege does exist, very much impacts people, but that doesn't take away your trans experience or the fact that they probably still face trans bigotry in a lot of ways. Like these states that are taking away trans healthcare from adults, that's not going to just impact the non-passing trans people. That's going to impact all trans people. No matter what you look like, no matter how privileged or unprivileged you are, that impacts everyone. So
right. And there's I mean, along with that, like there's a big argument that I hear a lot, and that was kind of engaging with today, like this myth that because trans guys are more likely to be able to pass, that we don't face transphobia or misogyny in the way that trans women do. And that's such an oversimplification. And like, yeah, and I acknowledge that right now I do have some privilege, but that does not mean I don't face transphobia. It doesn't mean I don't face misogyny. I still deal with a lot of that. Like I still have a family that hates who I am and will never acknowledge that I'm their son. So it's like, it doesn't go away. That stuff doesn't just magically go away. And especially people who know that you're trans, even if you pass, like they're still aware. Like not everyone's able to be stealth all the time. So like, I think we need to unite in opposing transphobia and not like fight each other about, well, I'm treated worse than you and like, you can go fuck yourself. But because that is something that I tend to see a lot of too.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Or is there anything else you wanted to add to it?
Oh, it does answer my question. I'm just curious, like how much of a touchy subject is passing in the trans community. Like, I mean, speaking of the privilege, you know, like I assume not all trans people desire to pass, and I'm sure some, you know, like you say, you know, want to be whoever they are and express how they want to express. And so I'm just wondering, like, do you feel like maybe, I don't know, like, what is the percentage, would you guess, of the community that prefers to pass?
Oof, that's actually, there might be data on this, especially the new Trans Health Center for Transgender Equality survey that's coming out might contain something. I don't know. I'm guessing it might contain something like this because it's such a broad ranging study. I think it's probably hard to put a number on that. I would guess a decent portion want to pass, but I think most of us learn to say, I will change the things I can change, and the things that I can't, I'm going to learn to love about myself, because I shouldn't have to feel ashamed and hating myself because of things that I have no control over, that I'm being discriminated against for. And I absolutely think that's awesome. People absolutely should be respected and get dignity and healthcare and treatment and housing and education, yada, 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 or however they want to present themselves. I don't think any gender expression, identity combination needs to be further marginalized than another. But it's really hard to know. If it's touchy, I would say it is probably pretty touchy. People have a lot of strong feelings about this. And there are some people who think to strive to pass, to be assimilationist, they may call it, is problematic in its entirety. And maybe there's some truth to that. In some respects, it could be problematic. Maybe there could be an argument there to how that's halting, you know, the growth of society to accept and incorporate broader expressions of gender into their like normal daily life. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that the trans rights movement is centered around is bodily autonomy. Is everyone deserves the right to determine for themselves how they want to be expressed, so long as they aren't hurting anyone else. There's absolutely no reason to restrict anyone from being, you know, however they want to express. Yeah, I don't know, Ben, do you have any thoughts? Are you aware of any like numbers or information on percentage of passing?
I don't, and I don't want to misquote anything. I am hoping that study is going to say more about it, because I'm sure, I mean, that study's going to have a lot of good stuff to say, but like Josie was saying, we don't have all the stats worked out yet from that. So hopefully soon we'll know some more about that data.
Yeah, hopefully SPSS can come through for us and reveal the numbers. But if that's all good, Jason, I think we've got quite a few other callers on the line we'd love to get to. So thank you so much for your call. And if you have any other questions or thoughts, give us a call back.
Will do. Thanks.
Bye. All right. Man, we've got so many good calls. This is awesome. I love it. Yeah, I know. This is great to see. Love it. How about number 5 on line 6? That sounds pretty good. Let's bring in Gary in New York. Pronouns are he, him. Gary, you are on the line. What's going on?
Yeah, I was just wondering, are you aware of the anti-trans activist Kelly J. Keene, Posey Parker?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just curious about your thoughts about her, because she's either on an American tour right now, or she has been recently. She's been to like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City. I was just curious. I think she's a nutcase, and I was just wondering what kind of influence you think she's having.
Wow, that's a hard question to really know the answer to. I mean, clearly she has gained some sort of notoriety, right? She's got a pretty good group of people who follow her and want to hear what she has to say. But at the same time, the spaces she inhabits are pretty niche. And I'm really wary. I would like to be really careful about taking issues that are really prominent on like Twitter or some niche internet forum and pretending that they are more impactful than they are. I think that just serves to stoke fear amongst our community when there's already plenty to be afraid of. That said, the rhetoric that she uses is among some of the worst. I think right up there with some of the people who are advocating for the elimination of transgenderism. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has also said that cis women and allies who stand in her way, she wants to annihilate, which is
right.
I think she used that word.
Yeah, she definitely said that trans people don't even exist, which is
right.
Bizarre. Yeah. I mean, I have a sister who is gay, and she had to hide the fact that she was gay when she was in the Army during the Reagan years in the 1980s. She did hide it from the family for a while, but when she finally got around to telling us, nobody really cared. We were all raised Catholic, but it was always sort of like not really a big deal. And so when she came out as gay, it was in like the early 90s or the late 1980s, it wasn't that big of a deal. And I see a repeating of history with trans people in the sense that it's going to take a lot of time to get acceptance for trans people to be more prominent, the way it's been more acceptable to be gay or to be bisexual or whatever it might be. And my sister had a really hard time being in the U.S. Army for 8 years and not being able to tell anyone she was gay. And eventually she did, and the Army didn't punish her for it after she got out. Anything that honors or rank or anything, she was able to keep those. It was just when she was actually in the Army, she couldn't tell anyone.
Right.
And so it sort of seems like people like Kelly J. Keene, when I was growing up in the 1970s, I'm 57, there was an actress named Anita Bryant who was very well known for being anti-gay. And it's sort of like a repeat of that. That's what I'm getting at, I guess.
That's exactly who I would compare her to. Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who don't know Anita Bryant, she was the one who really started, I think she was the one who started the Save the Family sort of movement. She was, I think she was in Florida on like orange juice commercials or something like that. Was kind of where she got her start.
I mean, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird, orange juice commercials. But I don't want anyone to go through, whether they're trans, gay, bi, to go what my sister had to go through. And the ironic thing about my sister, it wasn't because she was afraid of what my father would say. We all kind of suspected she was gay, so it was no big surprise. The main thing she had to hide it from was the military. Because we're talking about Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. That was not a good time for anybody who had HIV. It was not a good time for anybody who was gay. It was not a good time for anybody who was trans. And it's sort of like just repeating history. I was just curious about your opinions, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of ranted. Ben, did you want to jump in on any thoughts?
I mean, I'll just jump in a little bit on kind of the last bit. So I'm in the U.S. Army right now, and actually, I commissioned while the Trump ban was still in effect. So, sorry, what was that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I kind of came out to myself as trans, like after I'd already gone through a lot of the application process for my scholarship. So it was like, I'm already applying, like I'm already pretty much getting the scholarship. So I just kind of dealt with it. But I have mentors who had commissioned before me and had to go through the whole period of the Trump ban as non-binary and trans people. And it's an absolute garbage situation. And all these people I know are doctors or about to be doctors. And this does so much harm. And I hope we don't go back there with the military, but like, I think
it's weird.
The way that
I didn't realize Trump had banned trans people, but he must have, I guess.
Well, so what had happened was he stopped new recruits. So you couldn't. It limited healthcare access, so nobody could come out as trans, in the Army,
Right.
and you could not enter the military being trans. So the people who already were trans that were in were allowed to stay in, but it prevented
Right.
anybody from getting access to care, and it prevented anybody new from joining up. So if it ends up happening similarly to that, I doubt I would be kicked out, especially being a doctor. Like, they will hold on to doctors for any way they can. So, but they might be able to forcibly detransition people. So there's a lot of things that could potentially happen if a ban like that goes back into effect. But yeah, it impacted a lot of people more than it needed to. So I empathize with your sister there.
Yeah, I was curious when they finally allowed gay people into the military. Was that done by an act of Congress, or was that coming from the president?
I don't know the first time.
I don't remember the specific fact.
Yeah, I was just curious. Because if it's up to the president, then whatever president comes in can just change his freaking mind or her mind.
Sure.
Which doesn't seem like a very helpful thing. If it was more done by Congress.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, with regards to Posey Parker or Kelly J. Keene, you're absolutely right that she's a nut job and she's a fascist. I'm pretty sure she actually said the other day that fascist is the new word for legend. So you can throw anything she says and does right under the bus and disregard her entirely. She's a terrible human being and not worth anyone's time. With that said, Gary, we've got a bunch of other callers and we've got limited time, so we're going to go take those. But thank you so much it's a good topic to bring up. Definitely there's plenty to talk about with regard to Posey, but yeah, she's a nut job is a great way to describe her.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gary. Bye. All right, we're making good time. We're getting lots of calls today, which I really, really like. Ben, is there any calls on there that you want to take? I see there's one specifically talking to you.
Yeah, I was thinking let's take the one that's addressed to me, because I don't know if they'd be able to call back when I'm on. So
yep, let's do it. So we got Steve in Missouri. Pronouns are he, him. Steve, you're on the line. What's going on?
Hello. I'm a returning caller.
How's it going?
Good. I don't know if you remember, I'm a proud parent of a trans male. We talked before.
But
it's a different topic. I have retired from the VA Medical Center after 39 years, and now working for Oracle/Cerner. And I don't know if you're familiar with with Cerner.
I don't know anyone in medicine who is not familiar with Cerner.
Okay. Good or bad?
I don't know. I don't think it's my favorite EMR, but it's decent. Anyway, tangent.
Well, I mean, I hear the same thing about what they felt like with the CPRS system at the VA. Most of the doctors didn't like that either. But this will get into a whole other issue. But while I was at the VA, I was part of I had been part of the LGBT support community within the VA. And basically at the time, it was just mainly providing safe place. I had an office within the hospital. And so that was mainly it, and going to a few meetings. Well, now I just started at Cerner, and they have one of their community groups is, okay, well, how are we going to, and we just started, but how are we going to address transgender as part of the health record, as part of data that you need to have? And you're being a doctor or almost a doctor, I'm not sure where you're at right now, you need to get as much information as available to do the diagnosis. So
so this is actually a really easy thing, and I find it's usually cis people that are the ones saying that this is a very complicated issue. It's absolutely not complicated at all to get this information. And I made a whole video about this. So yeah, I want to know as much information as possible, but it's very easy. You give them a form, you hand them a form, and it says, what was your sex assigned at birth? Okay, and they can answer. what is your gender identity? They can answer. Add in little spaces. What organs do you currently have? What surgeries have you had? What medication are you taking? It's all, surprise, this is all like a lot of the same questions that you ask everybody when you're getting their medical history, right? Like I ask everybody what surgeries they have. I ask everybody what medications they're on. I ask everybody why they take those medications. Like the only difference now is you add a separate box for gender identity, and you can add a separate box for like what specific anatomical features they currently have. And that's really it. And then when you're the doctor, you can ask more information, like, because obviously you're not going to encompass with a little like dot phrase or whatever every single thing someone's going to say. That's where taking a good medical history comes in, because I do a lot when I ask people about why they're coming to see me, what kind of things they're looking to do in the future as far as intervention. But like that's done in my HPI. Like it's so incredibly simple. So that, I mean, I don't have much more to say. Unless, do you have other questions on that?
No, I just, I understand. I might be overthinking this. I come from, IT end of it. I'm not a doctor or a technician or anything. I'm IT. So I'm into data. And it's always been the more data we have, and then especially when we're moving into AI and stuff and how we can process information. But now I kind of think, well, maybe I'm overthinking it. That a lot of that information is going to be there already. I don't have to say, well, what is your if your cis blood pressure opposed to your transgender blood pressure? I mean, I just need your blood pressure.
Right, and there's a lot of stuff that I think about, like as somebody looking at medicine from the outside, it's very difficult to gather where my thought process is going. But there are pieces of puzzles being put together long before I even look through certain areas of the chart. Like if I see that somebody is taking lisinopril, I probably know in my head they have high blood pressure. I don't necessarily need to look at their vitals chart. Like I'm probably going to know that this is their history. Right. Same thing with trans people. Like if I see somebody that is on testosterone and has a history of double incision mastectomy, like I don't need to work very hard to know that this is a trans person. And so I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's a disconnect between the training that a doctor has and how we think through problems versus somebody looking from the outside. Because a lot of my job is it's not scripted. I don't follow a script of what I should do. Like it's very free form and it's very intimidating for a lot of people, but I kind of do what needs to be done from my end, and I think it's pretty simple as far as what we need the EMR to say. So I hope that helps. Yeah, no, that does. That helps a lot. I appreciate it. And then I'll save my other topic for another call. So. Cool. Thank you so much, Steve. We'll talk to you soon then. All right. Yeah, thanks for calling. Thank you. Bye. All right. We've got 3 callers left, and I would like to get to all of them. I think we've probably got enough time for that. So let's hit up, let's take caller number 2. They've been on the line for quite a while. So we're going to take Alex in Texas. Pronouns are they, them. Alex, you're on the line. What would you like to talk about today?
Hello. My question is about how to build up the confidence to come out to your healthcare team. I can give more background on why I'm asking the question, if that is helpful. Yeah, well, you don't have to share your entire medical history, but any pertinent issues that might explain the situation. We don't need any super big HIPAA information. So I'm non-binary and I want to start binding, but I have a feeding tube that is just below my ribs. So by asking my care team about that, I would kind of be outing myself. Sure. Yeah. I get that can be kind of distressing. Here, Arden, I can let you go first if you want. No, go ahead. This is probably more relevant to you anyway. Well, I mean, here's the thing. And this might sound aggressive, but the fact is your healthcare team is there to help you,
right? At the end of the day, no matter what their specialty, their job is to help you live the best life that you are able to. And whatever their feelings on trans people should be irrelevant. They should not be able to insert whatever bias they have into this equation. I understand that in terms of binding, there are things that you need to consider with what kind of binder you're going to use, where it's going to go, all that regarding the feeding tube. And a good physician is going to help you through that. They're going to say, this is a need that this person has. We're going to find a way to make this happen. If your healthcare team, if any member of this team is not willing to support you and it's clear that they do not have your best interests in mind, fire them. Fire your doctor, fire whoever this is, because you have every right as a person to fire your healthcare team. And if we're talking feeding tubes, I'm guessing you have either GI or surgery or somebody on board doing this. And unless you're in a very isolated area, which you might be, I don't know your exact situation, unless you're in an isolated area where that is the only GI you can see to get this done, like, by all means, you have every right to fire them. And hopefully that should give you more confidence to where if you say something to them and they're shits about it, they don't get your business anymore. And that should be how it goes. Yeah. I know it's a lot scarier than it sounds. Like it's very easy to say, yeah, I'm just going to go tell my doctor to fuck off. Like it's reasonable for me to think that, like, I'm the kind of person that I don't view this professional relationship to be much more than a normal conversation, but I get that it's intimidating for a lot of people. So as far as getting the confidence to say that might be a bit harder, and I might not be the best person to address about that. But I just want you to know you have the absolute freedom to control who is providing your healthcare. Yes.
Yeah, it's just very intimidating.
For sure. Yeah. I think that's totally valid. You can always do it like kind of soft too, you know, be like, hey, like I wanted to bring up something to you that I think may be relevant, but I'm kind of a little nervous because it's a contentious issue and you don't know how they're going to respond. You can even start with saying that exactly. And they might be like, oh, what's going on? I want to make sure you get the best healthcare ever. Or they're going to be like, oh, what, are you one of them transes? And then you can be like, oh, cool, I don't even need to tell this person before I tell them to fuck off. But like, you know, if they seem like they're going to be receptive and wanting to help, then you can be like, well, I'm a non-binary person and I would like to start binding. It would make me feel a lot better if I was able to do that. But maybe there's some conflicting issues here with like a feeding tube, and I would just want your support and how to go about this in the safest way. You know, I think you can kind of do like a soft launch or just be like, pitch it, but don't say specifically what you're pitching. And then if they respond well to that, then you can kind of like take the next step in, or you could even ask them like, hey, like, what are your feelings on transgender people? Because that will also probably get you a pretty straightforward answer without necessarily having to come out right away, you know?
But also, I want to mention, if you haven't heard about trans tape, that might be a good option for your particular situation, because you can cut it into different pieces and probably avoid the tube altogether. So I know it doesn't, depending on the person, it doesn't always work as well as a binder. So I would understand why somebody would want to use a proper binder. But that's something to look into as well, because it's safe for use that way. And it might be even a good first step if your doctor doesn't really know how to quite handle the binder issue. Maybe say, like, bring that up and see how that could work first. I don't know. It's another option on the table.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. And yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. It's just really intimidating.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat just said something that I think is a great idea too. If you're able to, having like an advocate or a friend there for you, if that's possible and something that they allow, that could be a great option to be like, you know, that way if this guy sucks or if this person sucks, you're one up on them on the numbers, you know? So it'll be a little less intimidating if you have like that support there, you know? Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I know Texas kind of sucks in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's scary, but yeah, thank you. That is helpful, especially like the trans tape thing, because a lot of binders kind of hit right above where the tube is, and I'm like,
Yeah. Absolutely. And maybe they can even get you resources to like, I don't know, some like support groups of somebody who's been in a similar position that might have like way better advice than what either of us could do. So definitely, I think it'll be good. But yeah, I mean, best of luck with that. And if you have an experience and you want to call back with better information, please do, because that kind of thing is awesome. We love to be able to get better information out to our audience and share the knowledge. So hopefully,
and I'd like to know as well.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd like to know as well for this kind of situation if it comes up in my practice. So please let me know if you have any feedback after this discussion goes down.
Yeah, definitely. It's a thing I haven't seen people bring up on the show, so I wanted to call in and talk about it.
Absolutely. It's so awesome.
So.
We love to get new topics, because sometimes we go like 3 weeks talking about the same things. So, but I get it. It happens. We love to do it.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for bringing a new topic to the show. We love it.
Yeah.
Good luck with your situation,
thank you guys
Alex.
for doing this. This show has like brought me a lot of comfort and joy. I hope you guys have a nice day.
I'm so glad. Yeah, you too, Alex, and best of luck. We'll hopefully talk to you soon. All right. 2 calls left. We're going to get to them both. Now, this call, I've been kind of interested. It sounds very interesting. Say caller number 5, Joseph in Arizona. Pronouns are he, him. Joseph, you're on the line. What's your question?
Hey, y'all. I do apologize if this question is a little insensitive or offensive.
Go for it.
All right, so I'm a Gold Star gay, if you guys know what that means.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I've been having a debate with some of my friends and stuff. Would you lose your Gold Star status if you had sex with a trans person?
I think you're going to get a lot of different answers depending on who you ask. I think depends on your definition. If your gold star is purely about penis, then potentially, but not all. Some trans men have penises. If your gold star thing is about dating men, then that would depend. Do you consider trans men or not? So I think it would depend on whether or not you think trans men are men.
Well, I don't see why they wouldn't be classified as men.
I feel like there's a but coming.
Yeah, right. I'm nervous.
Okay. I mean, what's your position? You're the one calling in. You're having the debate with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like maybe you have the controversial take you're tiptoeing around. Drop it on us. I'm not afraid.
No. I don't know. Like, how I think about it is like having sex with a trans man, and he has a vagina, and I put it in the vagina. Would that technically classify me as losing the Gold Star status? Or if I'm dating a trans woman,
this is such a stupid. I just have to say, like, this is such a stupid question to dehumanize trans men for. Like, is the Gold Star status like really more important than like trans men being men? Because it seems like that's what this issue is coming down to. Like, in order to legitimately keep this Gold Star status, having to say that a pre-op trans man doesn't count as a gay man is absolutely ridiculous and dehumanizing to me. So I think you should just not worry so much about this stupid term, and just, if you like a trans man, you can still be gay and like a trans man. But it's like, I don't know.
I think, first of all, the Gold Star thing is very juvenile, and I think it's silly. But further, this is something that I hear from like lesbians and bigots all the time about trans women, where they're like, well, I'm not gay and I wouldn't date a trans woman because I wouldn't want to suck a dick. And it's like, what on fucking earth? Like, if you had sex with a trans man, why do you immediately go to, if I put my penis in their whatever they want to call that? Like, why do you assume that's what having sex with a trans man is like? Is that the only kind of sex you think is possible? Is penetrative P and V sex? Like, you realize there are so many different things that 2 individuals can do together. I think it's sad that you think that the only sex you can have with someone who has that part is penetrative sex? Like, do you that's just disappointing to me. It sounds like you maybe are proud of a gold star status, but sounds like you have a very unfulfilling sex life to me.
I understand where you guys are coming from, and you guys do make some valid point, and I didn't even think about it in that situation or that scenario. And yeah, I do, like I said, I do apologize if it comes off insensitive. It was just a philosophical debate that we was having. And yeah,
a philosophical debate about that ends up impacting real people who are trans men who get enough of this. Like, and we already talked earlier on in the show how like trans men are often seen as just like walking sexual body parts. And like, I would love to just exist as a man and not be seen as a vagina haver or a breast haver. Like, I'm so much more than that. And in fact, like, I mean, I'm just going to be super transparent, and like any relationship I'm getting into, nobody is touching that part of my body. So it's completely irrelevant because I'm not giving anybody consent to use it. So
yeah, I'm going to be honest, Joseph. I don't actually think you're a very serious caller. I think you had a thing that was a joke amongst your friends that was kind of transphobic, and you thought you'd call into here to kind of test the waters and see if that thought was right. I'm going to tell you, it definitely is. This is a trope that's in media all the time about trans people's body parts that reduce us to the genitals we have. And right in line with Ben, I think most trans people that you're going to find are going to have sex very, 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 very differently from what the cis-normative expectation for sex is, because most of us are going to have, not most of us, I can't probably make that claim, but a lot of us have dysphoria around our genitals and have no intention of using them in sex whatsoever. I don't use my parts in sex very often, and I have a very fulfilling sex life. I am perfectly happy with all of the many, many things I can do that don't necessarily involve that part of my body. Like, I don't understand. The reason I don't think you're serious is because you immediately went to the most absurd, ridiculous conclusion. Like, if you were actually seriously having a philosophical discussion on whether or not this would lose your gold star status, the first example you'd bring up would absolutely not be this. I genuinely think you're just a troll.
I do apologize sincerely. I do not. I don't know how to put the words out appropriately, but yeah, I do apologize for being offensive and derogatory. Like, I did not mean to. I didn't even think about it in that scenario like you guys are putting it.
Sure. So that's what the show is here for, right? To educate people so that they can learn these things. So I would recommend you watch a lot more trans content, stick around and keep watching here, and be a little bit more thoughtful about the questions you're asking. And we're going to let you go, but I'm going to ask you to really evaluate why you would ever give a fuck about the gold star status, but why that matters to you. Does it give you some sort of superiority over other gay people because you never went through a period of questioning? Like, it really is a meaningless thing that you're holding on to. Much like virginity, it's this like fake social construct around sex that adds to this like purity culture thing that we have way too much of already in American society. And I would urge you to reevaluate how deeply you care about that. But with that said, Joseph, we're going to let you go. Good luck figuring that out, and call back another time. Okay, I dropped him. I didn't even want to hear what he had to say as a goodbye.
Yep, I agree. I agree with you.
Okay, I was hoping that was going to be like an actual, like, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that somebody who's asking that question would have a thoughtful, introspective conversation, but I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and so I'm like, naive. Okay, last caller for the day. We're going to take Josh in West Virginia. Josh, you are live on Transatlantic. What's going on?
Oh, not much. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. What's your question?
I just wanted to ask about what you guys thought would be the best way to advocate in a society where trans ideology wouldn't be normally accepted, because I need to kind of explain where I'm coming from a little bit.
Sure.
I was, like, in my youth, a Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan guy, and then I grew up and learned and met people and explored the world, and I just, because West Virginia is one of those places where we pretend that we love everybody, but when it comes down to it, there are definitely different classes of people, where there's trans, black people, gay people, and I'm just wondering what your guys' thoughts would be towards somebody who wants to advocate, but it's a very, bigoted area.
Yeah. So, real quick, before I get started, you're a cis person, right? I think you may have said that, but just clarifying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
yes.
One tip, and this is no harsh feelings, we always invite anyone to call in to speak their mind, because I want to educate, not trying to come down on you in a mean way, but maybe drop the term trans ideology, because that's kind of exclusively used as a dog whistle by bigots.
I'm sorry. That was
no worries.
Slip of the terminology for me, but yes.
Totally get it. I understand sometimes it's harder to drop. Those are just like neural pathways that are dug in. Just an idea that way it can set off red flags for people. But I mean, there's so much that can be done. I mean, first of all, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure I'd be willing to bet that West Virginia is probably floating some sort of trans law. Studying
absolutely,
up on,
and I've written and actually talked to a couple of our representatives in the area about this. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a huge thing. I think that's more than a lot of people do, actually, to be honest. Even in the trans activist world, I think not a lot of people are actively calling their, representatives and showing up at testifying at bills and things like that. Those are hugely impactful ways to make sure that even if they're going to pass a bill, that those people know their constituents don't necessarily support the bill. Because you'll see a lot of people, they say, testifying for the bill are from outside, often from lobbyist groups, which is, you think would be suspicious that all the constituents are against it and the lobbyists are there advocating for it. But I'm sure, there's still going to be people in the community who support it or whatever. But
unfortunately,
I think
the community around here is more in line with the bill than I would want.
I'm sure that's true. I mean, they've probably been subject to a lot of propaganda about the bill and about what the bill does. We see this all the time, even in not trans bills. There's a bunch of animal rights bills going out right now that claim to protect like Joe Exotic situations, but what they really do is impact a lot of educational opportunities for responsible keepers of non-traditional pets. There's so many bills that get lobbied that are misrepresented because, unfortunately, these issues are too deep and complex for legislators to have the time to go research all the nuance of everything. So they just accept what the lobbyists say and what the how it's pitched to them, and then they pitch that to the community. It's not anyone's fault. I don't blame people for encountering propaganda, but it's something that's really important. Then, if you can't advocate, or you're already doing talking to your legislators, is definitely talking to your community and waiting for them to bring up those points, because right now trans rights is a fucking hot button topic. Nobody can stop talking about trans issues. So I'm sure if you wait a week in some given social group, it'll get brought up with the ridiculousness of the transgenders, and you'll have an opportunity to say, hey, actually, that's not true, and that's actually not what the bill does, and actually this bill is stopping these are non-medical experts who are impacting the ability for minors to get access to evidence-based healthcare that is supported by, most major medical organizations. The only ones that have opposed it are the Florida Medical Board, which cited like a dentist and a plastic surgeon who never worked with the trans population as their experts. So, these are like super corrupt institutions that are the only ones who are opposing trans rights, that are very ideologically bound to anti-trans causes. All of the science indicates that trans healthcare is evidence-based. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of my main concerns, is that like we are getting peddled these, like you just said, citing a dentist instead of being cited correct and accurate data when it's out there, and people don't seem to want to know the truth.
And you can show them. And you can show them the stances by the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, all of these like 9 medical organizations that are in favor of gender affirming care. Like you can go to their sites and you can show them their statements. It's not super helpful all the time, like you're saying, but having those on hand can be meaningful for some people.
Well, yeah, and I'm a dad, and my wife's best friend is a trans woman, and like the looks we get when we are out, doing double dates with them and everything it's concerning, because I have 3 kids. What happens if one of my kids turns out to be trans, and I have to advocate for them because there's no one else is going to do it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And it's just rough because my parents are the generation that
real quick, Josh, are you on speakerphone, or maybe could you, if you're on like a headset or something, could you move the phone a little bit away from your mouth, because we're getting some breaking and crackling that's really loud.
I'm sorry, no, I'm not on anything. I'm on my phone.
Okay. All right, no worries. Go on.
Oh no, I was just saying that my parents are the generation where I can remember very early on, when gay marriage was a issue in West Virginia, that my mother was like, this isn't right, and I'm just worried for my kids and trying to educate, my dad. My dad's way more receptive than my mother is, and so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I think you point out a great thing, which is that even if you are apathetic towards trans issues, when you're out with your trans friend, you notice the looks that you get just by being next to her. That's what trans people deal with every fucking day, and that's why when you look at the data and they cite detransition, the motivation is almost never, I felt taken advantage of by the medical community, transition wasn't right for me. It is almost always, I felt like being trans was too hard. I was rejected by my community, my parents, my loved ones, my spouse. It's rejection and cruelty from the community that is overwhelmingly what is impacting the quality of trans people's lives. I think it's if you could always start by asking people if they care about truth. If they care about truth, then they have to start advocating for trans rights and standing up to what is being done. And if they don't care about truth, then you can disregard their opinion and just try to work with people who actually care about truth. Because I think in reality, while some people will claim to not care about truth, I think the vast, vast, vast majority, like 99.99999%, care about truth. Maybe there's some niche cases out there of someone who actually doesn't, but there are very, I don't think that's the most cases. When I know, like, I think it's something Matt said, or maybe I made this up in my head, but when people say they don't care about truth, but you tell them to blindly walk across the street on a busy traffic way, I think they're suddenly going to care about truth and evidence, about not getting hit. I think those are some approaches you can take. But I mean, what we're dealing with is a anti-trans panic, and it's hard to say whether or not it's worse than the anti-gay panic of like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because that resulted in the AIDS epidemic and lots of queer people dying. And we are looking at what feels to most trans people, I think, is the precipice of a trans genocide. And I don't use that term lightly. I don't necessarily know if it's appropriate to say that we're there yet.
I would completely agree.
We are definitely on the precipice. Yeah. And we need to stand up to this. You know, I know it's kind of a trope and it's not true, but I think we all grew up in history class with those who, you know, do not know history are doomed to repeat it. And I think what we're looking at is a lot of trends that we've seen before, and they're heading in the same direction. And we can probably make some accurate predictions about where this is taking society and how this is going to impact the lives of the targeted groups. And if we don't do something about it, we're probably going to see a lot of the same trends happening to those people. And I don't ever want to see that. I don't do this stuff because I like it. I do this stuff because all I want is to know that a trans kid out there will have a slightly easier life than I had growing up. That is my only goal, is to move the needle in a direction where they can then take it and move it further. And yeah, I think that that's the position we're in. So, I mean, I wish you good luck, because it's definitely not easy. And it sounds like you're encountering a lot of the same hurdles that trans people have been for a long time. But I'm glad to know that you were able to step away from Jordan Peterson and his metaphysical substrate, or whatever the fuck nonsense he peddles. Yes, so thank you so much for calling in, Ben. Did you have anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
Oh, no, not really. I just want to say thank you for being an ally and for taking those steps, because we do need people, like, not just saying that they're allies, but allies who are taking steps to call their legislators and to do these things that we need to be done. So thank you for that. And that's really all I got.
Awesome.
Nope. I appreciate y'all. And I'm sorry for my ideology slip.
No worries.
And I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks. You too, Josh. Bye. Okay. So we already pitched you guys the some of the shows that are coming this week on The Line. Definitely keep your eye out for those, because The Line is the coolest fucking secular, humanist, trans positive channel on the whole interwebs. And I'd like it to keep growing and blowing up the way that it is. And that only happens if you guys are sticking around to support all of our awesome shows and all of our awesome hosts. But right now, we're going to move on to the super chat portion of the show, where if you send us $5 or more super chat, we will read it live on air. And I believe the rule of my punishment is it for every super chat I have to start a new one?
No, it was $10.
Okay, every $10 or more, I have to start a new one. Okay.
Yep. That was
I've got
the rule.
my
and if I lose
cup
today,
ready.
I will drink the onion water. I will do shots of this.
What is Arden gonna do if Arden loses?
I can make some onion water for next time Ben and I are on together, which I think is
onion water.
A show next month, if I'm not mistaken. I have it on the schedule somewhere, but well, yeah, okay. So you wanna go first?
Yeah, $4.99 from Clayton Smith. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday. Arden is the best, but I got to go with hashtag Team Ben, hashtag men supporting men. And I love that you said Arden's the best. So clearly, apparently Arden's better than me, but I still got the vote. So I'm inferior, yet I still get the vote. So, you know, I don't have a problem with that. Thank you.
Hey, take it as being saved from punishment. It's great. Yeah, you know, y'all were shitting on Ben last time, but I bet you I'm going to be an even bigger baby about this. So I'm prepared to suffer greatly.
Nah, those. So I've what Ben doesn't know, and I'm going to kind of ruin it, is I stole some of those warheads. They're a little bit old and stale, and they're a little less sour. They're still sour, but they're a little less sour than a fresh one.
So Jimmy says that
Goddamn, okay.
Maybe it's just because I'm a sour baby, but I don't. You'll be able to see my face. I'm sure my face will say it all. I'm ready to go. 5 pounds from Pancaking On. I
must have missed it. I must have been in the bathroom. I don't know. What was the thing I missed?
Was that relevant to something? I don't know.
Because when I came back, that super chat was there, and then a bunch of people were like just saying the and hashtag the.
Hashtag
I that must have been in the chat. I missed that chat. Help us out. What the fuck is the?
I'm so confused.
Hashtag
Help us
the
out by
from
sending as
Ilya.
many super
Hashtag
chats
the.
as it takes to explain it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, yeah, I don't even want to look at chat. Just send a super chat. Okay.
And
Saved again.
5 is that Australian dollars from Jackie. Seeing the endocrinologist for the first time today. Told the brother I live with 2 days ago and my newish boss yesterday. Hashtag Team Arden. Well, congrats on your
awesome.
endocrinology appointment. That's amazing. And for coming out. That's awesome. So excited for you. I'm less excited for the Team Arden thing, but I'll just ignore that part.
I'm excited. Thank you, Jackie. And congrats. I'm scared.
I'm ready. Let's get a 10.
There it is. Wait, do I have to read this one?
I can read them while you're doing the warhead thing because you read more last time.
$9.99 from 7 Lions. Hashtag Team Arden. Woo. We're thinking of calling on this, but I'm a bit busy today. Living in South Carolina, I am deeply disturbed by the anti-LGBTQ legislation happening here. Hoping it gets struck down in SCOTUS.
This is your first one.
Right?
I told you I'm a baby.
It's gonna get so bad. You're
like,
gonna
want to go grab some
fun.
peanut butter. Like coat your mouth in peanut butter or something.
Okay, look.
No, because that's cheating.
I'm a baby, but Mama didn't raise no bitch.
Cheating.
Okay.
It is cheating. You say that, but like there's several more coming. You say Yeah, but once you suck the sour off, you can spit it. That's what we did last time.
Here's the thing. I'm a baby about it, but I've got a high pain tolerance. Doesn't mean I'm not going to experience the pain, but I'll be okay. It's actually already
She'll be fine. She'll be
down.
fine.
I ate like 250 of them in like 2 weeks. I got like a big jar and I was like, oh, I'll use these for a show. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, well, there goes the last one.
You have
Look,
a problem,
Jimmy, just because you're a
sir.
sociopath. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, you have a problem.
Something's wrong with me for sure.
Thanks.
$20 from Musey Creatively. Won't be here for the read, but I'll catch the VOD. I love all the shows on the line, but this is the one that convinced me to give the others a chance. As a bi, pan-romantic, going hashtag Team Arden. Sorry, Ben, I'm also bi. I'm not pan-romantic necessarily, but I am bi, so maybe I should have voiced that earlier. Well, that's fine. Give Arden the vote.
It's like eating something spicy. I'm sweating. I
can read while Arden just deals with the pain, because I don't think you'll be able to read much. Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'll read the next one. And they really want me to drink onion water is what this looks like. $5 from Ember. Thoughts on Chloe Cole, the FTM girl who got top surgery at 15, detransitioned at 16, now being used by the GOP to push transphobia. Hashtag producer Arden. Yeah, I mean, she's a grifter. Like, not much different tactics than any other grifter that we see in this space.
Also, like, something people don't understand is just because the data says, like, 0.2 to 3% of trans people regret transition the way she did, like, doesn't mean that we shouldn't see examples. It's a social media world. We're going to see examples of that number. That number exists. It's not surprising in any way, shape, or form that someone like her exists. That's in line with the data and still doesn't take anything away from the efficacy of trans healthcare.
Absolutely.
Thank God it doesn't last too long, but I can already feel my tongue's like,
oh boy. Your tongue's going to get like burnt off. Have fun.
Matt and I are trying to set up dinner for tonight. Should we get spicy wings?
Oh my God.
The spicy, I mean, no matter what, it's going to hurt. No matter what you eat, it's going to hurt. So
I will find a way.
Maybe like a smoothie, even though it's still going to hurt, but $5
man.
from RPG Debunks. Hashtag Team Arden only because Dr. Genius is drinking onion water and therefore must suffer. See, I did make the mistake in picking something that people want to see me do, because now I'm going to lose just so that they can see me. And I guess for everybody out there, if you all want to see me drink more onion water after this, my fundraising stream this weekend, it's going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, going until whenever we feel like stopping. I'll be eating as many hot dogs as I can on stream for donation, and whenever I can't eat another hot dog, I will be doing shots of onion water. I also have what I'm calling a Vienna Light, which is a can of Vienna sausages going to be poured into a light beer, and then I'm going to drink it. So if y'all want extra punishment for me, come to my stream, because it's gonna be a time. But this will be the teaser for today.
Beautiful.
So, but one shot sounds like nothing. So I'm thinking like loser has to drink 3-4 ounces. Let's say 4 ounces of onion
What
water.
the fuck, Jimmy?
4 ounces makes.
I can drink half this jar.
I don't know how many ounces your jar is.
That's definitely at least 4 ounces.
This is
not that much.
16. This is a 16-ounce jar.
Sure, yeah. And then the onion's taking up some amount of space. But if you're going to be doing onion shots all night, I feel like one shot for the loser here is like nothing.
Okay, I can drink half the jar, and then I will refill it for the stream on Saturday.
And Arden, you're good to match, right? 4 ounces of onion water if you lose.
Sure, I'll match 4 ounces of fucking onion water.
Good enough. All right,
and it's got to be the onion's got to be in there for a few days. Like
and
this
is
got to
what
be
we
some
do
old
for you
onion
guys. We
and
love you guys. That's clear.
If we get a combo of 50 points, they both have to do it. Don't forget, everyone. So get the votes in.
Yes,
lots
true.
of votes, lots of $5 with hashtag team whatever. Let's break 50 and make them both do it. And we'll also put it out as a YouTube short and shit. Make them record it, and oh yeah,
we'll do it.
I bet it's gonna be a $10 one, right?
Right.
Oh no, Louise,
Nope.
I love you. $4.99 from Louise Richardson. You're amazing.
Another $4.99 from Louise Richardson. Intelligent callers so far today. What is wrong? Hashtag Team Arden. Yeah, we had a lot of really good, honest callers today.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even that one caller who sucked was like clearly felt immediately guilty. I think he was a troll caller, but I think he was not expecting for us to like coming down
Call
on him
him out
hard. Yeah, which is like you clearly don't watch the show if that's what you thought was going to happen. So
right.
Arden, I'm messaging Matt. You good with going out for wings tonight?
Sure, I will try. I can't promise I'll be able to eat, but I will try.
All right, next one. We need a 10 for another 5.
Oh,
€5.
God, you guys are amazing.
Here, I guess you can read this because you're not suffering right now.
You're right.
Yeah.
€5 from Mismatched. Arden, that is such a cozy looking blouse. If we're still doing this voting shtick, I gotta support my trans sister, and I vote hashtag Team Arden. Thank you. Yes, it is very cozy. It also like makes me look sort of dressed up, but this new camera has a wider field of view, so that means you actually can see that I almost every single episode wear a nice top and pajama pants. So I've been now officially spoiled, my true secret. But it's okay. I don't mind.
I should start wearing pajama pants because you can't see mine.
Oh, fuck.
$19.99 from Hobie Woods. Love the show and love you both. Thank you for creating amazing conversations. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for making Arden eat that warhead.
Oh.
Just watch
It
watch
stung
her face.
worse.
Yeah, it gets worse over time. Like, I was not kidding you. And y'all were like, just do it anyway. And I did. I powered through it, and then Jimmy made fun of me. So it's fine.
Oh, wow.
Not everyone can be Jimmy.
I teased a little. Just a reminder, everybody, we do have to get to at least 25 for anybody to get a punishment. But if we combo 50, both of them will have to do it. I think the reason why so many Team Ardens are coming in is because Ben almost seems like, Ben, it seems like you want to drink the onion water.
It does a little bit.
I have not tried it yet. I'm curious, in all honesty. This idea came from a meme page of someone making onion water. It's just half an onion in water, and that's it. That's all it's in here.
It's definitely a valid punishment though, because I don't want to drink onion water, but I will.
Here, we'll do this too. We don't do it too much, and there's a reason for it. But super chats of $20 will be worth 2 points, and $50 will be worth 4. So people who send those bigger ones, 20 would get you an extra, because some people still put the bigger ones. If you want to do $5 per vote, you just have to do several $5 super chats. But if you want to loop them in together, 20's worth 2, 50's worth 4.
It faded into sweetness. 100 Swedish krona from Puckthol. Oh, we already did that. Sorry. I just didn't even pay attention because my tongue.
No, we didn't.
I don't know. Did we do this?
No,
one?
we didn't. We didn't do this one.
Okay.
We didn't do
As a
this one.
non-binary, I cis pass as the wrong gender, which is a privilege and an oppression at the same time. I think it's been a while since I voted for hashtag Team Arden. Onion water, yummy. Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to put it. Because like, you're not gonna like when you're out in public, right? It's difficult because you're gonna experience the oppression of being misgendered literally constantly, which is awful and shitty. But at the same time, you're not dealing with outward transphobia, like the explicit transphobia. I think there's an argument that being misgendered constantly as like a cis-passing non-binary person is kind of like a covert transphobia. But yeah, it's definitely, I think there's room for both of those things to be true at the same time in different ways. Just like, again, being a straight passing bisexual. Fuck.
$10 from Dark Matter. Taylor, you're a great parent. They'll figure it out in time, and you made it clear that they're accepted. You're lucky to have each other. I love you both, but Ben, you got to drink the water, dude. Hashtag Team Arden. See, yeah, they really just want...
It gets worse. It gets so much worse.
It does. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay.
I know how you feel. It's a rough time. Yeah, we can take the next one. I'll read a bit for Arden. $4.99 from Louise Richardson. I Zoomed with doctors at UTMB in Galveston about dealing with trans patients. My doctor proposed me for this because my journey is more than 40 years. That's cool that you were able to talk with some doctors and help educate them on some things. That's awesome. And thank you.
Thanks, Louise.
I'll keep reading. $10 from Lori Fishman. Are there any red flags to look out for when meeting a new gender therapist? I'm supposed to meet with one in the next 2 weeks and don't know what to watch out for. Are you okay?
I'm alive. Very aware of that right now.
If they advertise gender exploratory therapy or whatever, that's a huge red flag. Don't go to one like them. Are there any other red flags you can think of? I know you're having a rough time.
For meeting a gender therapist? No, I think exploratory therapy is probably the biggest concern. I mean, there are definitely therapists who like are not very sensitive to like really understanding issues. I think it's totally valid to be like, look, you may advocate yourself as a gender therapist, but I'm teaching you things and I don't want to do that for a gender therapist. That's a common thing. Like therapists who they love LGBT people and that's why they put that on their like, description, but they're not like aware of the community or any of the issues we face.
$9.99 from Ramona. I've got an appointment booked with a new therapist on Monday, which I've been desperately needing. Hopefully I'll be able to go through a day without sobbing soon. Hashtag Team Arden, hashtag Team Mental Health. I hope it goes well for you. And I mean, just like we were talking about with the last person, it's important to have a good therapist and one that isn't going to be super terrible. So I hope it goes well for you. And I hope, I hope everything meets your goals with that. And Arden is just...
I'm sweating. They're like my under eyes are like moist. Oh my God.
You'll have to let me know if your salivary glands like swell up, because mine did,
Okay.
especially near the end.
The first one, it was sour, but like I couldn't really like. It's like, whatever. It's sour. It's not a big deal. Now, the second it touches my tongue, it feels
Right? It
like
burns.
a hot iron.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's
That's
rough.
the problem with it. Like it builds.
It's like now it's not bad because I've sucked all the sour off and it's like sweet and I'm like getting a reprieve. But the second I put another one on, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. $5 from the horse you set. I, for one, am sick and tired of cisgender ideology. Great job on the show. Things are so disheartening now. I don't know how you do it, but thanks. Yeah, it's really rough. I'm not going to lie. It's just seeing all the news lately has been really rough. And I agree. Cisgender ideology can fuck off. Nobody needs their ideology. They're trying to make our kids cis, and I don't approve of this.
Yeah, I don't approve of the indoctrination. I feel bad for the caller because, it's like we've had callers before who are good meaning. They want to have an honest conversation, but they use a term, then we have to call them out on it. And it's like, you never know if like sometimes doing that is just like a well will go up and then there's no real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad the caller was able to like still communicate after.
Yeah, this caller was great. I'm happy with that caller.
Whoa. Okay.
69 Canadian. Nice. From Neil Armstrong. You guys rock. Cannot fence it today going #Team Arden. She deserves it today. She's powering through the warhead. So you know what? I'm going to say Arden deserves the votes today.
Oh my God.
$50 from Steve Ferris. Nice. We're getting more warheads. Oh, the green ones. The green ones are fun.
Oh my God. I'm dying.
It's bad. Don't drink onion water after that.
Am I allowed to drink water?
What?
I have no problem with you drinking water.
Okay. I'm gonna drink water after
The water
this
might
one.
hurt though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not gonna help as much as you think. It might. Your
It's probably
tongue's
gonna
probably
hurt.
building up like a sugary coating right now. That's probably actually helping.
I'm gonna try it. 'Cause... No, it doesn't help. It actually, I think you're right. It makes it worse somehow.
Yeah,
Like,
like
activates
everything
all the
is worse.
singing.
Everything is worse after all that.
All right.
Yeah. All right, $20 from Manuel Rodriguez. I meant to call in, but was busy at work. Wanted to ask how to engage as an ally in the debate about trans people in sports. I debate a lot, and the topic has come up recently, and I don't currently feel equipped to address this. This is a very big and broad topic. A lot of studies that are used to try to keep trans people out of sports are misquoted. So I think what you should do is read a lot of studies if you're able to, if you feel like you have the background necessary to interpret studies. But otherwise, people in our community like Stephanie Helms is great to talk to about this. She will happily send you more studies related to this because that's kind of her field. Phoebe is also very active in this particular topic, and they can send you some legitimate resources if you need those. Do you have any thoughts?
Nope. I'm sure what you said was awesome.
Your thoughts are just spicy.
My thoughts are survive right now.
$10 from Amit Matthew. TACIS he wants TACIS to sponsor TACIS. #Team Arden, just to get Ben to drink onion water. I mean, I know you want me to suffer. This isn't news to me. But yeah, we should get a sponsorship from TACIS. I would happily eat TACIS on TACIS if we got a sponsorship. Now you're just drumming. You're so miserable. You're air drumming.
Arden won the chat point. Y'all, Dr. Ben has 1 point. Come on. Get some votes.
But Arden's suffering right now, and they want to see onion water. So I told them the onion water. I'm okay with the punishment I've basically brought on for myself.
We can get double onion water is the thing. Everyone
we can. That's
onion
true.
water.
We can get double onion. Yeah, if we get to 50, we can get double onion water.
We definitely need more votes. I think right now, as I skim over, it looks like we'll be at least a few votes shy of issuing a punishment as is.
All
now.
right,
So,
get your votes in.
now.
Otherwise, you got to wait until Saturday for onion water. So I got it right here. Another 10 pounds from Vala Celine. Here's to 50. # Team Arden. I love how there's like the Scotch glass for the onion water.
I'm definitely going to record you eating a wing tonight.
Yes, please do. Please record this.
Oh, man.
Oh, 1999 from Airplune. Let's get that onion water flowing. # Team Venus. Hey, I got a vote. Or I guess I got 2 because it was a 20.
My God.
But you surviving?
I need a minute.
It's like
I'm gonna take a minute. I'll put one on my docket. Oh my God. It's genuinely painful at this point. Like it actually feels like
I was not kidding.
Sandpaper.
Maybe I wasn't a wimp and I actually had a point.
I feel like my tongue is bleeding.
I mean, Arden, how many?
I think it literally is bleeding.
How many are you at?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, well, Ben did 15.
It's literally.
Yeah,
it's
corrosive.
bleeding.
It's corrosive.
I'm gonna executive decision a pause. I'll have more before the show's over, but my tongue is bleeding.
I can send you a couple $5 ones before we resume the 10s.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this challenge is no joke. It's no joke.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're both wimps.
Do you want to read it or do you need a moment? Do you need some time?
$5 Canadian from Neil Armstrong. Now it'll help to take my mind off of the sting. Have support from # Team Pajama Pants. # Team Arden. Yes, Team Pajama Pants. Dude, I literally, I love pajama pants. If I could live in pajama pants, if it was socially acceptable to go to like nice restaurants in pajama pants, I would.
$5 from Johnny Rapine. PJ Pants. I assumed # Dr. Ben was just straight shirt cocking it toddler style while Winnie the Pooh. Like, so just, no pants, no nothing, just nice. Shirt. Yeah, that's, you don't know. Maybe I am doing that.
That's more my go-to. Only 2 chats left. Get your votes in.
Or don't.
Let's do it. Do you want this one? Or I can read if you need a minute.
No, it's okay. I can do it. My brain is just scrambled. $5 from Steve Ferris. The # $50 earlier was for # Team Arden for Ben's remark on Cerner EHRM.
What is somebody having issues with what I said about Cerner? Cerner's okay. It's okay. It's not the best one. Maybe they think that Cerner is the best one, to which I disagree and say I like Epic better. But if you want to debate me on Twitter about the best EMR, then go for it. I don't care.
Sorry, I messed up the score for a second. I fixed it. So I distributed the points accordingly.
So basically, no matter what, I am drinking the onion water. The question is, will Arden?
Yeah,
so,
right. We need many more votes for that to happen because we only have one more voted thing in. Arden, are you ready?
But I will be drinking it.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Because I think you still owe us the one for this one. I don't think you ever ate this one.
Oh.
I'm going to give you a few seconds.
I can't do it. I'm going to bitch out.
Okay.
It literally
said you weren't
is
a bitch.
Painful. I take it back. I'm a big bitch. I'm a big mama's raised a little wimpy bitchy bitch because I'm literally in pain. It's too much.
Ben,
it's too much pain.
I empathize.
Message you when I was like, I'm on 37 now or something like that. It was.
Yeah, you did that.
Yes, Jimmy, because you have clearly
no
destroyed
sensory
your tongue.
neurons.
Yeah, no sensory neurons
no
in your
sensory
tongue.
neurons.
I wish that was true. I am the pickiest of eaters.
Ugh. Well, whatever the reason. Yeah, but
All
you
right, it's
also
fine.
like getting stung by bugs and stuff, so.
That's true. We're
You're just weird.
We'll
You're
pause
just
your
weird,
warheads
Jimmy.
there. But I when we go out tonight, let me get a side of whatever the hottest hot sauce is, and you have to dip your finger in it and hold it on your tongue, and
God.
that'll
You're trying to
make
kill
up for
me.
it. Well, that'll make
Okay.
up
That's
for the lack
mean.
of additional warheads.
I will do my best. I'll do like a little tiny little drop. But
I'll do
Mom
it
raised
with
a
ya.
bitch, and I'm not afraid to admit it. But do I have to read this one? 1999 from Airplune.
I think
No,
we
I
did
just
this
read
one
this
already.
one.
Okay,
We
I'll
did
start
that one
sending
already.
more.
Yeah.
We are getting more votes in, which I'm glad. I want us to hit that 50. I want to watch both of them do this onion thing on this channel, by the way.
I'll do it today on this stream. Like,
Right
Arden will
now.
have to do it later because she hasn't made her onion water. But I prepped my onion water already, so this has been stewing for like over a day.
10 euros from Andrew Batea. Hashtag team the. Hashtag teen genus. Hashtag team F yourself on a huge dildo Jimmy.
Thank you. It's my birthday.
We're gonna wish Jimmy all the dildos for his birthday.
But don't send me them for my birthday. I have enough. Just become a patron and come tell me to fuck myself on Sunday. That's the way. Patreon.com/call the line. We're doing a Zoom call after the Sunday show. We're going to do an extra long Sunday show on Sunday, which is my birthday. And then if you want, you can Zoom with me afterwards and tell me to go fuck myself.
I really want this to just be a whole stream of everyone just saying for you to fuck yourself. That's
Everybody
really
raises
what
their hand one after another. In the Zoom, we do the raise hand thing. And yeah, all right, it's your turn. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. All right, totally. Y'all can come. Y'all can come to the birthday stream if you want.
Of course. Yes. Is it $4.99 from Ramona? Onion water backwards. Ruta Noino. Hashtag Team Arden.
It sounds like Doodle Bob.
Ruta Noino. Yeah.
$4.99 from Airplune. Oniony desire, emptying a mason jar, make his eyes water. Hashtag Team Onion.
Wait, I don't know who to give this point to. I assume that's for you.
I think I'm Team Onion.
Yeah, I think Brent's Team Onion.
Team Onion.
Oh my god. $10 from Beck Vagnarelli. Hashtag Team Arden. She's literally putting her tongue at risk. I'm sure there's no long-term risk. I mean, isn't the tongue supposed to be like the fastest healing organ or whatever?
Well,
so
it'll take like a day and a half probably.
But like, it is literally like the first. Like I said, the first one it's sour, but it's like who cares? It's sour. Like I eat spicy stuff all the time. But the last one was literally so painful. Like I feel like reflexively I couldn't keep it in my mouth. Like.
When I was a kid, I used to go down to Walgreens at the end of the road and I'd buy, I don't know if it was, I think it was called something else because this was in Louisiana, but I'd go down to, what was it? Okay, it doesn't matter what it's called. Well, basically a Walgreens, and I'd get 2 or 3 tubes because back in the day they were 44 cents each and I had no money. I'd get 2 or 3 tubes of, do y'all remember Shock Tarts?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd eat all 3 tubes of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm really happy.
This is why your GI tract isn't okay, Jimmy. Like you're like, I have all these GI issues, and then you're like, listen to all these awful things I did to my intestines when I was a kid.
I'm pretty sure the sour though is stripped. Like that's a lot of sugar, and I'm not diabetic.
Yeah, no,
you
probably
tons of diabetes
like an
in my family.
osmotic laxative.
I can't dispute that it probably caused some diarrhea for sure, of tremendous colors too.
Oh, I bet. 10. Is this me or you?
Yeah, go for it.
10 euros from DIY Patrick. I love the community. BDSM today, so have another one. Hashtag Team Ben.
Yes, community BDSM. You're welcome,
Yes,
everybody.
that's what we do here on this channel is community BDSM.
All the sadists in chat felt so seen today because I just was publicly causing harm to myself.
We only have one more. We need 19 more votes to get the 50 mark after the one
To
that's
make
coming
Arden
in.
do it.
So here's the option. Either a bunch of you can spam the $5 votes, or one person can spam $100 and I'll give them all 19 votes to the person of their choice. I want this onion shit to go down. I really do.
Well,
Like I feel like
know
onion
for
water
sure
is gonna
I'm
be
doing
gross,
it.
but
So.
doable. I can't wait to see.
It's gonna be nasty.
Yeah. I can't wait to see your
It's
reaction.
pungent. It's pungent. It's definitely very pungent.
Do you like onions?
I like onions, but this is just raw onion in water, like a whole half of a raw onion in
How long
water,
has it been
and
in
it's
there?
kind of cloudy. Over 24 hours.
Okay.
So it's been stewing in there.
Sure.
So then also by Saturday, when I put in the next batch of water, it's going to be stewing until Saturday afternoon. So
I despise onions so much that like even this 25-50 point thing, like it'd have to be a combined 1,000 points for me to jump in on
to get you to do onion water.
Onions are
I like
my
onion.
mayo. Like how Katie won't do mayo for anything less than like a mortgage. Same.
See, I would actually. I'm neutral on mayo. I like don't really care about it, even though I've become team mayo. I would actually defend onions because I love onions. I think onions are delicious.
I love onions so much.
Yeah.
So are both of you going to enjoy this?
No, this is diluted. It's just water infused. This is, imagine lemon water, but with onion. Like that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, no, I don't think even if you like onions, onion water is pleasant at all. I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
I would, if I was going to have raw onions, it would be like on a burger or in a wrap or something.
Right.
Like,
I'm not going to eat a raw onion. I'm not just going to.
Yeah.
Especially this much raw onion. Like that would be ridiculous.
There's got to be something we can do to
$10
up the ante if you two like onions this much.
Somebody
Jimmy,
has suggested
I think
just
you're so
eat a raw
delusionally
onion.
anti-onion that you think that this would be pleasant if you like onions, and it's just not.
I think it would be bearable if you like onions, for sure. Like
We'll find out.
Yeah,
I have not
this
tried
water.
it yet. It is pungent. It is very pungent.
Okay. Y'all, $10 from El Martel. Y'all were exactly what I needed after fighting bigots online all morning. Keep up the good fight, friends. Hashtag Team Ben. Salute to you, because I've got a new rule where I only talk to people about trans issues on this show. I do not do replies or comments or DMs about it anymore. So
I might need to start doing that too. At least temporarily. Man, it's rough.
It's just, I don't think there's any benefit to it outside of like a place where you can actually hear each other's voice and like have a back and forth that's natural.
Mm-hmm. $5 from Dylan Fuller. Jimmy's just a sadomasochist and a dork, LOL. What's your favorite comfort food that may be weird for others? And hashtag Team Ben for trans mask solidarity. Favorite. There's so many things that I like.
That's weird for
weirdest.
others?
I really like...
Go, yeah.
Oh, I really like eel. Like eel sushi. I love that shit. It's so good.
That is weird. I can confirm.
I guess people would think that's weird. It's not weird to me though. It's delicious. It's so good.
I don't know. I feel like all the things I like are like, I love salty stuff. So fried foods are a huge weakness for me. Anything fried I enjoy. But I don't know. I feel like that's really normal. So I don't know if there's anything that I like that's like weird to an American audience anyway. Like maybe if we go to a completely different country, they might be like, you eat that, weirdo? But like,
I also
audience,
do like liver. I like organ meat. I like liver. I'll eat intestine if it's cooked right. Like in Korean
I know liver's good for you, but
super good.
I was actually gonna try to eat liver because it's has some specific like vitamin B nutrients that I really am deficient in. As a way to introduce eating meat to get nutrients that's important with not trying to become like a full-fledged meat eater. But I don't know. I like fried food, man. That's so normal. Like, I guess to Jimmy, I love onion rings. Fucking pour mozzarella sticks and onion rings down my throat, please. I love it. That's not weird though. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Why was that directed at me? I missed something.
Because onions.
Well, I'm aware most people like onions and onion rings. I'm not saying that they're all like. I just don't. I like a hint of onion in like a red sauce. I think that it can accent. I'm kind of the same with garlic. People use way too much garlic and shit.
Oh no, I love garlic. See, Matt's similar. He doesn't like too much garlic, but there is no such thing as too much garlic to me. Like you can put like a whole fucking garlic, not a clove because that's just one of them. A whole garlic thing, in anything, and I'll enjoy it. I love garlic.
I'm about to send the last chat. Last chat doesn't have a vote. So remember, we either need 18 more $5 votes, 9 more $10 votes. What was it? Four for 50. So anyway, the math works out. Or one person to send $100 for 19. And I said I'd be worth 19 votes toward somebody, whoever they pick. A couple ones are coming in, but yeah, we need more. I want to watch. I'm actually more interested to see Arden drink it than Ben, to tell you the truth.
Because I'm a human trash can, and we all know this.
Yes, my reactions to food are more dramatic. I understand.
By the way, everybody's saying I'm a sadomasochist. I would remind you the Warhead Challenge was Ben's original idea, and I just what's happened since is I've eaten so many more warheads that I can't imagine tapping out at. What did you get? What did you tap out at? Like 11, 12?
I think it was. Oh yeah, it was 11. It was 11 because there was one after that. But yeah, it was literally painful. My tongue is like literally bleeding. I've got a little mirror right here. I was like,
I'm not. It's okay now. I'm just a mean dick. Like that's
true.
Just an asshole.
We love you Jimmy's in spite of it, or because of it. Kind of all the same.
$4.99 from Cody Crow. We've all heard of lemon parties. Let's have an onion party. Oh God. Oh God. Okay.
$5 from Light Halcyon. Eel is delicious. # Team Ben gets my unagi solidarity vote. I'll say I have had unagi once that was actually okay, but in general I don't like fish or seafood at all.
That's fair. I love seafood.
It's hard because the other place to get a lot of vitamin B is from fucking salmon, and I'm like, man, why is all the shit that I don't like that has the stuff I need? Actually, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Sorry. $5 from Johnny Rapine. Eat a raw onion like an apple. Great Depression style. Take Arden to Aron Ra for there can only be one wing challenge tonight. # Dr. Ben. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy.
No, I've spent plenty of time with Aron. We go to reptile conventions around Texas. We've been to dinner plenty of times together. I'm well aware of his spice tolerance. We were actually at a restaurant recently. It was an Indian restaurant, and he was like, I want the hottest thing that you have. And the server was like, are you sure? And he was like, no, I want the hottest. Like the server was reluctant to give him what he was asking for because and then he got it and he was like, yeah, I guess I can kind of taste it or whatever. Like, you're fucking insane. He's the Jimmy
you burn your
spice.
Because you build a tolerance and you lose your taste sensation to like milder things. So like, yeah, I don't know if it's like an accomplishment. It's just hurting yourself and then not being as sensitive to stimuli anymore. Like, okay, cool. Be proud of yourself for not being able to sense stimuli.
What was that, Jimmy?
I'm like, did he used to work in a coal mine? Because that's the old thing that coal miners, like, they'd lose their sense of taste, and so they'd eat super spicy stuff just to taste anything.
I mean, it's kind of like, I don't think he's ever worked. Actually, I don't know. I don't know that much about Aron's work history, but I definitely will never compete with Aron in a any winged spice challenge ever.
People are now bringing up, because you mentioned that I don't like being stung by bugs. I find it a useful activity if you live amongst stingy bugs to make sure that everyone that can sting you, you let sting you at least once, and you lose your fear of like when that specific hornet is all up in your face and everybody else freaks out and does that big old dance and like, whoa! And you're literally like, I know what this feels like. It's survivable, whatever. I'm fine.
I mean,
Sure, okay.
Sure, Jimmy.
It is. I mean, there is an adrenaline rush, but it's not sexual at all.
I didn't think it was sexual. I don't think. Did I imply? Okay, well, chat's weird. That is weird. I was not at all trying to imply.
We are not
sexual.
the chat. I'm responding to the chat. I'm responding to the chat who is picking up saying I'm not a sadomasochist. And they were like, yes, you are. Arden just said you like to get stung by bugs.
Yeah, no, that's not a sadomasochist like sexual thing at all. $5 from Larry Fishman. I don't know if this is me, but I'll try any food at least once. # Team Bet. Yeah, same. I'll try just about anything. It's just, when my tongue feels like I'm eating a lava rock, I gotta spit it out.
That's the last vote I have. So I think if anybody wants to get a last minute vote in, you have until Ben drinks his 4 ounces of onion water to get those votes.
I'll drink it straight out of the jar too.
Yeah, if we want to get Arden to have to drink it on next show.
Ben. Go for it.
No, don't chug.
Damn.
Don't do it all at once. Do it in passes.
That's a 16-ounce jar, and he definitely just did like a third of it easily.
It's almost gone though.
Yeah, no chug. I just want to make sure you're tasting it between.
I'm tasting it. It tastes like onion. Like it's just straight up onion.
The difference between a chug and a sip is so little as far as the experience goes. So I'm saying if we're doing 4 ounces, I'm wanting multi-experiences.
You want me to? Well, I mean, yeah, going slow, I just smell onion. Like it's just in my nose longer.
Do that thing wine people do where you sip it loud.
You gotta like swirl it around too,
aerate it.
There's notes. All right.
It's got notes of
onion.
Onion.
Notes of onion.
Notes of onion. Look, I'm so fancy with my onions.
I can taste that the farmer's gout had flared up that year.
All right. So
yeah, this
will
not cure your illness.
Right, it will not cure your illness. That's good to know. Because I've got lots of illness.
All right, one more thing. Don't go
illness.
Ben, I need you to do one more hit of it and react like it matters. Because like right now, this is so boring. So let's just fake it. Take a good hit of it and just be like, oh God.
Are we doing a spit take? What are we doing?
Go for it.
I do a spit take. We need something.
I'm not doing. I don't know if I'm gonna spit on my computer.
Go spit on your computer then. Just give it a sell it. Oh.
Why would you make me do that, Jimmy? It's so terrible.
Emmy award-winning performance. Beautiful.
Something.
Okay. So thank you all so much for showing up and making the show possible. Without you guys, the viewers, we couldn't do any of this. But as always, thank you to Dragon for call screening for us today. And thank you to all of our mods in chat for doing the most work and for vouching for me as Jimmy abuses me via warheads. It's truly, I live a really difficult life over here.
Ben's idea.
And thank you to Jimmy for producing. He really does do the most work. It's a lot harder back there than we often gave him credit for. I can now say as an experienced producer. But with that said, you guys, we are going to head out and we will see y'all back here next week. So thank you so much. Bye.